All right, if you're a business leader, a CEO, or any C-level executive in Israel, you need to listen up. We're about to talk through one of the biggest legal shifts you're going to face this decade. It's called Amendment 13 to the Privacy Protection Law. And trust me, it's about to change, well, pretty much everything. So what does this actually mean for you, and how much time do you have? Let's dive in. First things first, the deadline. Go ahead and put a huge circle around August 2025 on your calendar, because that is the day a completely new era of data privacy law officially kicks in here in Israel. The clock is ticking, and what used to be just, a best practice is about to become the law with serious consequences. Now, before we get into all the details, let's just cut right to the chase. Let's tackle the one question that should be on every single executive's mind. Can you or your CEO be held personally liable for a privacy mistake? Well, under Amendment 13, the short answer is a loud, clear, and resounding yes. To really get why that's such a big deal, you have to understand that this isn't some minor tweak to the old rules. Nope. Amendment 13 is a complete and total overhaul. It basically rewrites the entire playbook for data privacy, and it brings Israel much, much closer to global standards like GDPR. So what's really changing? Well, for starters, enforcement. Under the old law, let's be honest, it was pretty symbolic, almost minimal. The authorities just didn't have the power to hand out serious penalties. The new law, it completely flips that, giving the authority real teeth to hit companies with some pretty significant fines. And this new power goes hand in hand with a massive shift in responsibility. You see, before, a violation was seen as a corporate problem. Personal liability for managers, it was extremely rare. But now, the law establishes direct personal liability. We're talking about CEOs, VPs, CISOs, you name it. The buck no longer stops with the company. It lands right on the desks of senior leadership. The law also changes what you're supposed to be focusing on. The old way was, frankly, bureaucratic. It was all about the paperwork of registering your databases. Amendment 13 demands proactive protection. It's not about checking a box anymore. It's about putting in place active, real, and provable data security measures. And finally, this is a huge one. The law dramatically strengthens the rights of everyday people. Where the old law was kind of vague, the new one gives people strong, clearly defined rights, a lot like GDPR. Individuals now have the legal right to access their data, to correct it, and even to ask you to delete it entirely. That creates a whole new world of operational duties for your company. So we've seen the new rules. Now let's get down to brass tacks. What actually happens if you don't follow them? Well, the consequences aren't just severe. They come at you from multiple angles, hitting your organization's finances, operations, and leadership all at once. Let's start with the number that should get everyone's attention. For really bad violations, the potential fine is up to 5% of your company's total annual revenue. Just take a second and think about what that number looks like for your organization. For a lot of companies, a penalty like that is a massive, massive threat. And it's not just about percentages. The law also lays out some very concrete financial penalties, with fines that can go as high as 3.2 million shekels for certain types of breaches. I mean, these are board-level numbers that you just can't afford to ignore. Beyond the money, there are some intense operational demands. So let's say you have a data security breach. A 72-hour countdown starts immediately. That's it. That's all the time you have to report it to the authorities. This means you need a rapid response plan that's been tested and is ready to go at a moment's notice. And we're back to personal risk, because it is, without a doubt, the most profound change here. The law is crystal clear. It states that senior managers can be held personally responsible or even be sued for violations. This isn't an interpretation. This is literally what the law says about who is now on the hook. And here's the thing. The risk is layered. It's not just one big fine. You could be facing administrative sanctions of 15,000 shekels for every single person affected. On top of that, people can sue you for damages without even proving they were harmed. And in the most serious cases, like using data without permission, there's even criminal liability with jail time of up to 3 years. Okay, I know, we've outlined a lot of risks, but the goal here isn't to scare you, it's to prepare you. So let's pivot from the risks to the solution. Here is a clear 4-step playbook for what your organization needs to start doing, like right now. Your road to compliance really breaks down into these 4 essential pillars. First, you've got to discover and map out all your data. Second, you need to manage consent and people's rights. Third, you have to implement real, tangible security. And fourth, it's time to update your policies and internal governance. Let's just quickly run through each one. Step 1 is the absolute foundation. You can't protect what you don't know you have. This means you need to do a full-on mapping of all your data sources, your core systems, CRM, BI tools, and yes, even those random Excel files floating around. You have to identify all the personal and sensitive data and document exactly where it is, why you have it, and who can get to it. So, once you know what data you're holding, the next step is managing the rights that go with it. This means you need a real system to properly collect and keep track of user consent. And this is critical. You have to set up a formal process for handling what are called Data Subject Access Requests, or DSARs. You need to be ready to respond when a user wants to see, change, or delete their data, and you have 30 days to do it. Step 3 is all about making your security real and measurable. The law now requires specific technical measures. We're talking about enforcing role-based access, so people only see the minimum necessary data to do their job. It means encrypting personal data, both when it's just sitting on a server, at rest, and when it's moving around. And it means you need to be constantly monitoring and logging who is accessing what and when. And the last piece of the puzzle is governance. You've got to draft a new, transparent privacy policy in plain, simple language. That policy needs to be easy to find on your website and your apps. And while it might not be mandatory for everyone just yet, it's a very, very good idea to consider appointing a data protection officer, a DPO, to be the person who owns and oversees all of this internally. So here's the bottom line. The deadline is real, the changes are huge, and the stakes, both financially and personally for leaders, have never been higher. August 2025 is going to be here before you know it, and the only question you really need to be asking yourself right now is this: is your organization ready?